gentlemen, broken up, and the pass is no sign yet. Edelman comes down with a football. They're saying it's a catch. This is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Swings it way down the field to Watkins. Sammy Watkins for the touchdown!
Good evening. You are listening to the Fumblerooski podcast by Power 88 Dean Radio and Fans Only Sports Network. I'm Adam Wright with Justin Hill, CJ Medeiros here with you tonight. We have a lot planned for you for this episode, but first, I want to get into some big news for our show. So, what we are going to start doing is we're going to be going not just once a week for episodes. We're going to be releasing 2 episodes a week. So that is Tuesdays, as always, but also Thursdays. And so it won't be 3 co-hosts like usual. We're going to have 2 of us. And then the third guy is going to be a guest, one of our listeners. Every week, we're going to have somebody be a guest on our show. And at the end, you get your own personalized segment. So you can talk about literally whatever you want. So if it's over the summer, you want to talk about baseball, we're going to talk some baseball. If you want to talk some hockey, we'll talk some hockey. You want to talk some basketball? Let's talk basketball. But we love our listeners and how they have just been awesome with us in the past few months. So we want to return the favor. You know, the fan box has been great, but we feel like that's not enough for you guys. We love getting your responses and hearing what you guys have to say, but we want to hear that in person. We want you guys to be part of this show and feel like you're part of this show. This is just the beginning, to be honest, as well. CJ and Jay Hill also know a couple of other things that we have in store for next season, which will be right down the road, but great things going on. Can't wait to see it. But in this show, we're going to get into some draft coverage. We'll hit on Bobby Wagner going to the Rams and what it means for the team. We're going to get into an interdivision trade between the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. But first, let's talk about this big trade that has gone down between the Saints and the Eagles. That's right. The Saints and Eagles made a massive trade of draft picks ahead of this year's draft. So the Saints are acquiring the 16th and 19th overall picks, along with a 6th-round selection. And the New Orleans Saints are the Saints are sending to the Eagles the 18th overall pick, a 2023 first-rounder, a 2024 second-rounder, a 2022 third-round pick, and a 7th-round pick. So, guys, what does this move mean for each team? How does it benefit either team?
Well, when you think about the New Orleans Saints, now obviously you know the era of Drew Brees and Sean Payton is now gone. You need some fresh new faces. You need an infusion of youth. After kind of a down year last year, you grappled with the injury bug, didn't even have Michael Thomas the entire year. You need a very good infusion of youth. And you got Jameis back, who was looking promising before, the injury. But you also lost a big name, Terron Armstead, to free agency, and you also lost Marcus Williams. Now, granted, they did make some good signings, like for that defensive backfield, they got Marcus May. That's pretty solid. But the loss of Terron Armstead is going to hurt you. And what you need, now you got 2 first-round picks. You can draft a tackle. You could draft another receiver, go linebacker, like whatever. You need it. You need infusion of youth. And I think that having now 2 first-round picks at 16 and 19 is great. But Philly, that's a different story. Now, when you think about the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts, you know that Hurts is good but not great. He's solid, but, oh, man, there's a lot, and I mean a lot to be desired. Now, this is not a very quarterback-heavy draft, so I'm not worried for Jalen Hurts' future right now. But ladies and gentlemen, there's no 2 ways around it. This is a put-up or shut-up year for Jalen Hurts. If he doesn't perform up to snuff, Philly has 2 first-round picks in next year's draft, which supposedly will feature quite a few good quarterbacks. Maybe, just maybe, including Alabama's very own Bryce Young. So that's just something to watch for. That's what it means for both teams. Justin, take it away.
I definitely agree with you, CJ, with this whole thing. Regarding with the New Orleans Saints, you look at the scenario. They went about 12 years or so with Breeze and Peyton, and with that, the mission failed regarding winning another Super Bowl. And because of this, they have the price to pay, and that is like rebuild mode. And regarding with this whole thing here, is it good for Philadelphia with the picks? Absolutely, because Philadelphia, they're looking for a quarterback in next year's draft. This is like a one and done year for like Jalen Hurts. Like, yo, listen, if you don't get us past the wild card game this season or whatever, then you're out. And like, yes, like the Saints, they're doing a lot of good things right now, but at the same time, I think this whole trading draft picks, it doesn't really make sense. But at the same time, you get a higher pick. Yes, you get a high pick. It's not like you're getting in the top 10, but at the end of the day, you're getting worth your picks. But with this scenario here, I think with the Saints, you have a bright future, but at the same time, you're in this situation because of years of the Saints paying a lot of money to players, and because of that, you didn't win a Super Bowl out of it. And at least with the Eagles, they were able to win a Super Bowl. So let's see how this route goes.
All right, guys. So Ian Rappaport tweeted out following this trade about the possibility that the Eagles could use this 2023 first round pick on a quarterback, which would lead me to believe, like CJ said, that this team, that Jalen Hurts is on the hot seat. So that also leads me to believe that, you look at this pick that they have, and you look at the team that they have. I wonder if they're going to take a wide receiver and sort of load up here, give Jalen Hurts all of the weapons that he needs, and then turn and say, if you don't succeed with this, you've shown us some promise in the past couple seasons, you've been solid, but if you can't succeed with this, then you're out. And we have this first round pick right here, and we're going to use it to get you the hell out of Philly. And I feel like that's what's going to happen. And if it works out, they'll use the first round pick on something else. So in essence, the Eagles now have multiple first round picks in back-to-back drafts. As for the Saints, this works for them because now, they don't have a lot of talent left on the team. It's starting to fall apart. They're aging in a lot of different positions. It just makes sense that they go out and they get an extra first round pick for this draft. I'm not too high on this draft, but it is very receiver heavy, and that tends to be what they actually need. So I kind of like this for both sides. I really do.
If you look at the Eagles, for example, such as Jalen Reagor, if I pronounce his name correctly, but with this whole thing here, not to mention him, the Eagles do need receivers. Like, they looked so lost in that wild card game against the Buccaneers that they literally quit on themselves. But had a little bit of a comeback, but they still lost the game. But with this whole thing here, yes. Did you win the trade with picks? Yes. But at the end of the day, they're basically sending a message to Jalen Hurts like, look, this is one and done year for you, man. I understand we're talking about picks right now, but let's get to the point of this. This is like a message to Jalen Hurts. They're like, listen, next quarterback class is going to be just like last year's quarterback class in 2020 when you had, like, for example, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts. Like just a bunch of quarterbacks. But like regarding with this here, 21. Yeah, my fault. But 21. If you look at this whole thing here, this is like a sending of a message. We've seen this all in sports. And do the Eagles have the Eagles drafted and like been a big target for free agents with big quarterback names such as like Carson Wentz, like Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb? Yes, but at the same time, they drafted a quarterback into their organization that they really need to fix in order to get back into that point.
Yeah, sure. But I don't think it was that's the sole purpose of the trade, just to send a message to Jalen Hurts. I mean, that's a hell of a thing to do, just to say, hey, get your ass moving, trade all these picks, trade away one of your first round picks, and just delay it until next year. I think they're just what they're saying is, we're unsure of this guy. We're gonna see how things go. We're gonna draft a wide receiver. I'm forgetting the name of this guy. He tore his ACL in the championship game in college, and because of Jameson Williams, he's going to fall on draft boards, and he could fall around that area where one of their picks are, and they wind up with him along with Devonte Smith in his second season, who was still incredible this year for a rookie wide receiver. I mean, I think we're getting spoiled by Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson putting on these incredible performances as rookies, but Devonte Smith wasn't too shabby, to be honest. And just looking at this draft, very deep with wide receivers, and I think they're going to take one of them.
Before we go, who do you think won the trade, you guys? CJ?
Long term, probably Philly.
I'd say the Eagles. The Eagles, it looks like they partially punted from this draft and said, well, we have 3 first-round picks in this draft. Let's trade one into next one. I like this one. I like the Eagles in this.
Same here.
All right. Well, coming next, we have the DeVante Parker trade. Parker to the Patriots. We'll talk about that. You are listening to the Fumblerooski podcast.
Here's Edelman broken up, and the pass is no sign yet. Edelman comes down with a football. They're saying it's a catch. This is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Swings it way down the field to Watkins. Sammy Watkins for the touchdown.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Fumblerooski podcast. Adam Wright, Justin Hill, CJ Medeiros here with you tonight. And so there was this one trade that happened within the division, which is very rare. It's actually not as rare as you would think with Miami, because they've actually pulled some trades with the New England Patriots. However, this just happened. DeVante Parker has been traded to the Patriots. Miami gets a 3rd-round pick in exchange for Parker and a 5th-round pick. So, guys, what do you think about the Patriots? What do you think about their chances of contending in the AFC East now that they have Parker and a couple other pieces here and there?
Well, Adam, I wouldn't say that Parker makes them like favorites or anything, but he does help a lot. Other than the fact he's a bit of an injury history, he seems to be a very good player. He's got a good stature for a receiver, and he's put up big numbers before, and he's especially, believe me, I know, given some of his AFC East rivals fits. And another thing what I like about Parker is that he said he wants to be in New England. There were other teams that were pining after him, and he said, no, I want to be in New England. So that always helps. And, with the heart and his skill, Mac Jones is a good number 1. And he was a serviceable number 1 for Miami for many years. I wouldn't rule out the Patriots going receiver maybe in round 2 or 3 in the draft. But hey, that's just that's just how it is. It's I really like the pickup. But here's the hidden genius of it. The Patriots gave up a 2023 3rd-round pick. And the Patriots, due to losing J.C. Jackson to free agency, are scheduled to get a compensatory 3rd-round pick in next year's draft in the 3rd round. So basically, the Patriots got DeVante Parker for free because they're still going to have a 3rd-round pick next season.
Did DeVante Parker go to the Patriots for free? Absolutely. They only just gave up a third round pick. It's not like they gave up a second round, first round pick that really matters. At the end of the day, DeVante Parker only had one good season with the Dolphins. That was in 2019 when he had 9 touchdowns, 100.
Saying third round picks don't matter?
No, they do. All picks matter, no question.
Yeah,
Listen,
but they're third round picks. Those are early round picks.
No question. But what I'm trying to say, Adam, is that yes, was the pick? Well, how can I say it? Do picks matter? Yes. We've seen great players in the NFL come in the third, fourth round, but a guy like DeVante Parker, it's not of a big deal. You know what I'm saying? DeVante Parker has only had one good season. That was in 2019. But however, he is a good receiver. Looking at his stats before this podcast and all, but it's like what you said, CJ. He's had a lot of injuries, but I think with the Patriots, they did a great move. They haven't made a lot of moves this offseason. I know you for a fact, CJ, you was like really pissed a couple of weeks ago when like the Patriots weren't making no moves, but at least they were able to come up. They were able to come up with something at least, like a name that we know of. Like, let's not forget, DeVante Parker was like a great fantasy player. Like, not trying to put like fantasy into this conversation, but it's just a genuine fact. But at the same time, hey, at least this shows that N'Keal Harry is going to be gone soon, and let's hope. Adam, let's see what you have to say, because I think with the DeVante Parker move, this is a great. And I think with a guy like Mac Jones, and knowing Mac Jones, he's been I'm guessing working on his arm this summer. I think it's going to be a great duo between the two.
Yeah, I really like this move. I think that I know a certain friend of ours, or maybe friend, doesn't believe that DeVante Parker is a number one receiver. It's debatable, but I think he's a wide receiver who's been undersold during the entirety of his career. This guy has gone through injuries early on, and he's had to endure poor quarterback play. And say what you want about Ryan Tannehill getting better now that he's a Titan. Come on. It's a run first offense over there. That whole offense runs through Derrick Henry. Once he's gone, then it's good. It's goodbye to Ryan Tannehill. But besides that, like they've had no good quarterback play. You can argue that it was Ryan Fitzpatrick who was his best quarterback he's played with, which says something. And now we're moving on to Mac Jones. Jury's still out on him, but if he can play, then this would work. This can work, and pair him up with Jacoby Myers. You have Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith might do something. Don't forget about Nelson Aguilar, who's definitely not worth the money he gets, but he's not useless. I think this is a team that can at least be competitive. Remains to be seen whether this team can compete with Buffalo and Miami, who have absolutely loaded up. But I think this is a team where they can make the playoffs. Let's say one of those teams between Buffalo and Miami just doesn't pan out, winds up to be a massive bust. I think this is a team where, if one of those teams falls apart, New England will be right there to lap you and pass you. I think don't sleep on New England. I know everybody wants to say, well, they're not going to make the playoffs. They may not go 500. I think they have a shot. I do.
Like we've seen, like with Adam, but like we've seen receivers that have had like a terrible start towards their career. For example, Chris Hogan, all of a sudden, like goes to the Patriots. He has like a career year. Yes, Chris Hogan's washed, but at the same time, the guy retired. But like what I'm trying to point out is when you go to the Patriots, your career starts to blossom even more. You get much better. And we've seen this in the past with great players. For example, was Randy Moss a beast with the Vikings? Was he like the best receiver in the league? Yes, but when he was with the Patriots, the man was on God-given talent with Brady. The dude had like 20 touchdowns in a single season. But with DeVante Parker, he's no Randy Moss. But I think his game,
I wouldn't compare the two. But.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is like he's no Randy Moss. But I think with DeVante Parker playing with the Patriots, I think his game regarding touchdowns and receiving catches and yards is going to be much better. No. It's going to be much better than it was like last season. Because I'm looking at the stats right now. Last season, he only had 2 touchdowns 515 yards. 2020, he only had 793 yards, 4 touchdowns. 2018, 309 yards and 1 touchdown due to injuries, I'm guessing. But his only good year was in 2019. But I think playing with the Patriots is going to give him a big lead.
Yeah, I think it will. But I don't know, man. I don't know about the comparison to Randy Moss. This will
No. I'm not trying to compare him to Randy Moss. What I'm trying to say is like,
yeah, it'll rejuvenate his career. That's what it'll do.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sound delusional, trying to compare a man to Randy Moss. There will never be another Randy Moss. What I'm trying to say is, when you go on the Patriots, your game will be much better. You get what I'm saying?
You sound like a Patriots fan comparing him to Randy Moss. It's going to be like Randy Moss. Going to go in there. Mac Jones. I almost said Brady. Mac Jones is going to throw for 50 touchdown passes, 5,000 yards, league MVP, 16-0. DeVante Parker, baby. DeVante Parker. This will rejuvenate his career. I really do think that if Parker can stay healthy, then this could be everything for him, because I think this is just what he needs. It's not like he's going to be the only target where defense is going to be focused on him. There's still Myers and Bourne out there, and they have a very serviceable running game. They have a good quarterback who throws to him, a decent offensive line. This is a good environment for DeVante Parker, and from the reports, he said he wanted to be here. So let's see what you can do. I really like this move. But all right, coming up next, we are going to talk about Bobby Wagner going to a team that just won the Super Bowl. We'll talk about how that affects the league next. You're listening to the Fumblerooski podcast.
Here's Edelman broken up, and the pass is no sign yet. Edelman comes down with a football. They're saying it's a catch. This is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Swings it way down the field to Watkins. Sammy Watkins for the touchdown.
You're listening to the Fumblerooski podcast by Power 88 and Fans Only Sports Network. Adam Wright, Justin Hill, CJ Medeiros here with you. So, Bobby Wagner, after a lot of speculation on where he's going to go, there was a little bit about, there was, I'm blanking on the other team. There was the Ravens who were in on him. There were several other teams, but he lands with the Rams, and the Rams just won the Super Bowl, and they lose one veteran in Von Miller, who has a much better ability to get to the quarterback than B. Wagner. However, they replace one elite veteran with another, so they fill that hole. They still have a left tackle to back up, Andrew Whitworth. So now you kind of have all you need is a second corner to replace Williams there. But what do you guys think of the defending champs landing Bobby Wagner? Do you think they're still Super Bowl favorites?
Yeah. No way around it. Yes, they are. Look at that roster. You got Cam Akers coming back healthy. You got Matt Stafford. Sorry, I'm a Matt quarterbacks confused. Got Matt Stafford. Cooper Kupp with Allen Robinson. Still a decent O-line. Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd on defense. Bobby Wagner, Jalen Ramsey. Now that's a scary unit. But I do agree with Adam. I do think they need a corner too, because they lost Darius Williams to free agency. But I will tell you this. Do not sleep on the Rams. I know it was like, oh, the Chiefs or, Patrick Mahomes is all that. And the Bills, it's time to give them their respect. But the Rams just won a Super Bowl. Don't forget about them just yet. That's all I'm going to say. And in my eyes, they're still the favorites.
Well, with Bobby Wagner being from the Los Angeles area, this is a no-brainer move for him. He got the money that he wanted. Hey, he was really upset the way things occurred, how the breakup between him and the Seahawks ended after Russell Wilson left. He was really shocked how they released him. Let's not forget, Bobby Wagner's no washed-up player. This is a man that has led in tackles at one time in this league. And with the Rams, they continue to prove there's no salary cap in the NFL. And I know, Adam, how you feel about the whole salary cap, and you, CJ. In my eyes, I don't believe in no salary cap. And as of right now,
then explain Patrick Mahomes' contract.
That is true right there. But listen, with the Chiefs, man, not to get off topic, but with the Chiefs, with Patrick Mahomes, you got to think about it.
Tell that to Tyreek Hill.
But listen, you got to think about it, though. The economy in Kansas is not like Los Angeles or New York. Let's not forget about that. So, regarding to what I'm trying to say with Bobby Wagner, not to get off topic, I know I see your face, Adam. With this whole thing here, I think it's great. You're playing alongside defenders such as Aaron Donald, the rest of the crew, Jalen Ramsey and them. But this is scary. This is scary Rams defense. But with the Rams, do I see they're going to repeat? No, they're going to definitely make it to the NFC Championship game, but they're not going to repeat. But the same exact time, this defense, they're going all out. We know that Matthew Stafford has already been talking to Aaron Donald to come back, which he has, but now it's time to pay Aaron Donald his money. But let's see how this goes. I'm really hyped for what's to come for the Rams because I'm a huge Rams. I'm all about defense, man, in football. And the Rams come to my mind when it comes to defense. Them and the Buccaneers.
All right. Yeah, this team does deserve to be favored. However, I see a little bit of an issue with depth on this team. They lose Andrew Whitworth, and their backup hops in, and he's been solid, but it's a bit of a thin line here that they're walking. No pun intended, because I'm talking about the offensive line. But this offensive line is a little bit thin on depth, and so is the wide receiver group. They have Woods. No, they don't have Woods.
No,
Sorry, they have Robinson. I confused the two. They have Robinson and Kupp, and then they have Van Jefferson. After that, they don't have much there. And
I don't know,
they
man.
don't really.
Tutu Atwell is good.
He's all right, but I mean, if we're looking, let's say Cooper Kupp tears his ACL, or let's say Robinson gets hurt. Who steps in? Do we? How much confidence do we have that Van Jefferson and I'm sorry, what's his name again?
Tutu Atwell.
And Atwell. What are do you think they're still favorites without him? And yeah, the argument can be made with a lot of teams, but I'm just saying with the teams that have very little depth, I don't love it, especially in the NFL, because in the NFL you can count on injuries to affect your team greatly, and it's the teams with the best depth who usually survive that. And I think they definitely deserve to be favored because they have in a sense basically filled most of their holes, but that's a very thin team. Like, they don't have much depth there.
CJ?
No, I got nothing.
You got nothing.
Adam makes a valid point.
You make a valid point, but I thought he was going to add on CJ. But what you're saying, Adam, I definitely agree with what you're saying. It's just like with the Rams. What I love about this team is Sean McVay is like they're all about defense. It's like, no, defense comes first in football. And at the end of the day, with this scenario here, Bobby Wagner's a beast. I think with the whole thing of Von Miller not resigning, like, hey, okay, we lost a key defender. We weren't going to pay him the money that he wanted. Let's get a guy for cheap. And that's what the Rams did. They're like, listen, there's teams right now that are favorites to get him, such as the Ravens and more. But they're like, hey, let's maybe sneak into the mix. We know he's a Los Angeles native. Let's just try and get him. And that's what it happened. And seeing this duo here, it's going to be great to watch because I've been a fan of Bobby Wagner for years.
You've been a fan? Yeah. Bobby Wagner. It just seems like one of those moves where this team will certainly be favored, but I don't see them repeating. I think there's going to be a different team that comes in there. I know the Western Conference, or sorry, I know
NFC.
blanking on the NFC. The NFC is very thin on teams, but so are the Rams, and that's the type of team where, just give it a few weeks and they'll implode.
I mean,
You disagree?
No, you're not wrong, but you can always count injuries to happen. Just depends on who. Because let me tell you right now, if Jalen Ramsey goes down, they got no one behind him. That's all I'm going to speak on that.
Nothing in that secondary past Jalen Ramsey, and
I mean, their safety Taylor Rapp's pretty good,
and past Noteboom at the tackle position, they got nothing. And you have to keep Matthew Stafford on his feet, or else he's going to turn the ball over. And on top of that, the wide receiver group is all right. But here we have a comment from our co-host who's out tonight. Justin Tucker said, "Take the Giants uniform off, Justin."
Well, I have more rings than you, Justin, but I missed you on the show tonight.
Man,
well, Tucker. Actually, how many championships? Because technically the Ravens aren't even an expansion team. They were the Cleveland Browns.
And the Cleveland Browns have never won anything in their existence. So the Ravens have 2 chips. Giants have
2. But they were both as the Ravens. None of them were as the Browns.
Yeah, the Browns never won anything in their existence.
4
At least not a
Super
Bowl. Yes, that is
numbers. The Ravens have won the most recent Super Bowl. Just saying.
Come on, man. We're gonna really talk about a Super Bowl they won in 2012. Wait, was it 2012? The 2012 season due to luck? Like that whole run. Okay,
Super Bowl 47.
Yeah, was it one of the best playoff runs that I've ever watched? Yes, the way they went against Peyton Manning in Denver and then go up against Tom Brady and the Patriots. Yes, that was a great playoff run. But let's forget the Giants. They not only put the storm on the New England Patriots in 2007, ending one of the greatest perfect seasons in history, and probably the greatest team that ever stepped foot in the NFL, the greatest player of all time, Tom Brady. They also did it again in 2012. And not to mention, yes, you did beat us in 99, Justin, but let's not forget, we didn't have a good team that year. So, man, like, it's whatever.
All right. Well,
he's just salty that what's the player they lost? CJ due to free agency. He's just salty that what's his name?
Zadarius Smith.
Yeah, man, you lost to Darius. The Giants, they would have had him in the bag.
Yeah, but and also Jay Hill. I'm sure Zadarius Smith can tell you all about how the Packers have so much money because of the cap space.
But you know what's so funny? So funny before we go to the next.
We have 2 comments, and here's the first one. He says, "Wasn't luck," from Tuck, and then here's the second one. Delusional Giants fan.
Well, you know what?
This might be a good time to go to break.
Hold on. CJ, let me talk. Hold on.
Oh,
you know what's so beautiful about it?
You might want us to go into break, Jay.
Do you know what's so beautiful? We have 2 first-round picks in the top 10 of this year's draft. So I'm doing the MJ thing, man. I'm chilling. I'm so happy for the future.
All right, keep doing your MJ thing. Your MJ.
Good job,
just shrugging your shoulders. All right, next we are going to have the Fumblerooski fan box. Don't go anywhere. This is the Fumblerooski podcast. This is the Fumblerooski podcast by Power 88 and Fans Only Sports Network. Adam Wright, Jay Hill, CJ Medeiros here with you tonight. We are on to the Fumblerooski fan box. So we post a question filter on our Instagram every Monday, and you can respond with hot takes, questions, and more, and we will discuss it and give you a shout out on our podcast. Respond to next week's fan box question to be featured on our show. So the question of the week was, who do you want your favorite team to pick in this year's draft? So our first response was from Patrick Wolliver, who said Cowboys' dream pick would be Devin Lloyd. Realistic pick is Zion Johnson. So to sort of have two guys, you have Micah Parsons and Devin Lloyd together. That's pretty damn good. And they need work on that defense, so that works really well. And as for Zion Williams, he's a guard. Do they really need that? Do they really need help at the guard position?
Well, they have
always
Zach
had
Martin
a very
and
deep.
who else? Who's their other guard? I can't name them.
Their other guard. They could go into free agency to address it. I'd rather not address the guard position in the first round.
I personally think the Cowboys should go front four, but whatever.
Marcus. Marcus Peters is. Marcus Cannon is a free agent. I'd go after him.
Yeah, but he's a tackle, so.
And if I'm the Patriots, I go after, just sitting here as a Patriots fan, I go after Marcus Cannon. And you fill in that need because they have a glaring hole after Shaq Mason was traded to the Bucs. I don't know why the hell they decided to do that. Yeah. They did it for a 5th round pick. And
Adam, it was a salary dump. You always get lowballed on a salary dump because they know you have no choice. That's just the nature of the game. Salary.
Trade somebody else, or their offensive line is just. Well, they only need the guard position, but still.
All
right. Next was CJ, and you can explain this one yourself. Pats fan. There's so many. Jameson Williams, Devin Lloyd, and Andrew Booth are ideal. So, explain.
Well, quickly, we all know we need a receiver. I love Jameson Williams. Really explosive because of his injury in college. He's going to fall. If we scoop him up, I'd be so happy. Reuniting the Bama boys, Mac Jones and Jameson Williams. Devin Lloyd, I love Devin Lloyd. If we got him, I will weep tears of joy. And
I don't think he's lasting that long, but
yeah, I don't think so either, but one never knows. And corner Andrew Booth, really, he's got good ball skills, really fluid mover. He would be perfect with Bill Belichick.
He might last that long. He might. But there's also Duffy.
Oh yeah, McDuffie's also a good one.
McDuffie.
Maybe Kyer Elam. He's a nice rangy player, so never know.
All right. And then we have Tyson Tate, who said Vikings, Sauce or Derek Stingley Jr. So Tyson definitely wants a corner on the Vikings, and who could blame him? Because that secondary has been brutal ever since Xavier Rhodes passed his prime. Because even let's be honest, even when he was in his last year with the Vikings, he lost it. He kind of lost it. He wasn't the same. And yeah, he kind of had a resurgent year with the Colts there, but he was the best of the best, man. Xavier Rhodes, what a fall from grace he has. He'll be lucky if he gets signed anywhere this offseason. He might find somewhere eventually, but they need somebody. And Sauce or Derek Stingley Jr., those are some pretty good names. Now, will they last until number 12? Maybe Stingley.
I mean, Stingley's falling, but I don't know. Gardner's definitely going. Gardner's going to be the first corner off the board. No way he lasts the Vikings. Stingley is a better chance, but I wouldn't put money on
it. So the Vikings are at number 12. So what do you think about that?
I feel like if Stingley's there, I mean, around that around 12. I wouldn't rule out the Vikings trading up because I feel that the Washington Commanders would probably draft Stingley if he's there because their secondary is not really that good.
Right. All right. So Jack Grob, who I believe is on your floor, right, Jay Hill? Actually, both of your Jack Grob. I'm not sure. I don't think I know him, but
I don't know him anyway.
Jay Hill,
I don't know.
you don't know. You said you knew him, but he
Yeah,
comments
I know
on our
him. Yeah,
stuff
I
a
know.
lot.
Oh, yeah. I think he is. Yeah.
All right. He said any of the Ohio State wide receivers going with. He said going with Fields. He said this is interesting. He said he is a Browns fan. Is he saying going with Fields as in like the Bears? Because he's a Browns fan.
I would imagine.
Yeah. I think he's having well, how can I say it? I think him being the Browns right now is pretty good because right now you not only have Deshaun Watson, but like you have a pick in this year's draft, so you have a lot of things to do, especially during this offseason regarding receivers. There are rumors that Jarvis Landry or Odell might come back, but we shall see. But trying to with picks right here, I think it's going to be good to see what kind of pick they're going to pick in this draft. Maybe they can get a receiver. Maybe they can get a defender. It's great to see what's going on in Cleveland right now after a terrible season of last year.
And just because he mentioned Fields, I wonder if he's mentioning the Bears. But I'm just looking up their draft position right now. Where are the Bears picking this season?
I don't think they have a first round pick. They traded away in the Justin Fields trade up.
And let's not forget.
Okay, so there you go.
Let's not forget, you guys. Maybe the Browns, maybe they're waiting until the draft to trade Baker Mayfield, maybe get a higher pick in this year's draft. We don't know.
Baker's not going to go for that much, I assure you.
You think so?
I know he's not gonna.
What about like a team you think? Because there's teams looking for quarterbacks.
At highest, I would say maybe a third or a fourth.
So Stephen Parker said Andrew Booth to Cincinnati. That's a positional
I don't know
need.
if he's gonna. Yeah, it is. I don't know if he's gonna be around that long. Plain and simple.
Yeah, they don't have. There's not many corners after like the first half of the first round in the draft.
Oh, I disagree.
You don't think so?
But no. I mean, there's probably Kyer Elam might be there. Kyler Gordon might be there. Maybe wait until the second round. Get Kobe Bryant, Zion McCollum. Maybe, I don't know. You have options.
All right. Well, so Brian Mucker said Sauce Gardner for the fourth pick. So he's a Jets fan. Sauce Gardner for the fourth pick, and either Drake London at wide receiver, Jamison Williams, or Wilson. So he's saying he wants with the fourth overall pick. He wants Sauce Gardner, no one else. I've been talking to him. That kid, he drools over Sauce Gardner.
As he should.
And then after that, wide receiver at number 9. But I don't know if I agree with that for the Jets. Because am I wrong am I wrong for actually liking their wide receiver core? I kind of like it.
They don't really have a clear number 1. I don't think Elijah Moore is the number 1 quite yet. They really need an explosive guy, and they should get Drake London. Plain and simple, they need Drake London. Drake London, in my eyes, is the best receiver in this class. I feel like drafting Jameson Williams that high isn't worth it, but London's basically like a skinny DK Metcalf. He's a darn good player.
All right. I really like Elijah Moore, and I would probably give him some time. And Corey Davis is a solid wide receiver too. And Denzel Mims, give him some time. I think they have some pieces here. I don't know. Am I wrong? I'm really wrong for liking these guys. Am I?
I don't know, maybe.
All right. Well, so we are going to wrap it up. Do you guys have any other thoughts before we end the show?
Nope.
All right. So that'll do it for us tonight. Thank you for listening to us. Be sure to tune in to us live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube through Fans Only Sports Network. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also have all our episodes available on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and so much more. Also, be sure to follow our Instagram at Fumblerooski_podcast to keep up with our podcast and the latest coverage on the NFL. Otherwise, we will see you next week. Over and out.